Hello everyone, I'm Grandmaster Denes Boros, and I'm back with a special. What happens if Alexandra Botez meets the Rapport-Jobava? Let's dig in. Let's take a look at this position. Obviously, this whole sequence of moves comes from d4, d5, knight c3, knight f6, and bishop f4, leading to what's known as the Rapport-Jobava, invented by the two mavericks of chess. Now, when I played this against Alexandra in this blitz match, I was wondering what she's going to react. So let's see what she did. She played c5, e3, and the big matchup and the debut of this opening was Rapport-Jobava in the Olympiad, where c takes d4 happened, e takes d4, which led into a lively game, which Rapport eventually won. But in this game, Alexandra plays bishop g4, which is a very interesting move, but a rare one. Only found seven games total, but it's very interesting. She's saying that white is a little bit underdeveloped, and bishop g4 also solves the problem of that pseudo-French bishop. So bishop g4 is very interesting. And I felt that if I just go bishop e2, there would be mass exchanges and would lead to close to nothing. So I played f3 instead, attacking that bishop and winning time, even though corrupting my structure. Bishop d7, bishop d3. And bishop d3 probably was a slight inaccuracy. Here I would propose for you Rapport-Jobava fans to take on c5. And if e6, then knight b5 actually becomes stronger, as it is a typical idea in this system. So here the big move would be to take on c5 and followed by knight b5 after that. And I believe that white should be better. Now, played bishop d3, c takes, e takes, g6, knight e2, bishop g7, and oftentimes in chess, you've got to make a decision. You can play it wild, and you can play it simple. Most of the time, I enjoy playing it wild, and in fact, probably the best way of playing would be as queen d2, g4, and an eventual bishop h6, just getting rid of Alexandra Botez's bishop. Now, this time I decided to take it slow, take your time. A gambit might arrive in the heat of the moment. So let's see. I decided to castle short for that reason. Castles and a3. And I'm really fond of this idea of a3 in the Rapport-Jobava. I actually talked about this in a previous video. So if you're interested, you should definitely check it out, because I detail how you can combine this bishop f4, knight c3, Rapport-Jobava system with this idea of a3. The a3 point is that in most cases you stop this knight from hopping to c6 and b4, and if the bishop were to develop with e6, that is never a possibility anymore. So knight c6, queen d2, connecting the rooks and planning the aforementioned bishop h6 move. Rook c8, bishop h6, e5. And e5 is a very good move, and I think this deserves full credit by Alexandra. She is not worried about the vacant d-pawn. She's saying that these pieces are not quite ready to take action, and that is correct. Now, I was thinking of capturing, but after king takes, pawn takes, knight takes c5, she gets way too many active pieces. So I decided to drop back with my bishop, pin it to win it, as we all know, and is a classic. You want to pin it. If they capture, I can go knight takes d5, put pressure on the pinned piece, and then white would be undoubtedly much better. Bishop e6, very solid. Rook e1, just bringing in the pieces. a6, d takes c5, knight f4. So I'm trying to take advantage of the fact that most of her pieces are lined up on the e-file, so I'm going knight f4, pushing on the e-file, while black's pieces are still on f8 and d8 respectively. Knight takes d3, knight takes d3, queen b6, king h1, queen a5. Quite an annoying move, and a very strong one by Alexandra. She is planning to go d4, and I would say nay, nay, nay to that. Knight b4. But also just take a look at the clock. The fact that I'm up 1 whole minute, that actually matters a whole bunch in blitz games. Rook d8, queen f4. Immediately launching an attack against that knight. If you go knight h5, white can just take on d8 and the queen would be hanging. Some warning signs and some clouds are approaching black's position. Rook c4, queen g3, and probably here should have played knight e4 with fantastic play. Of course, knight takes is not possible because of bishop d8 and the same attack. Queen g3, queen f2. Lining up. Of course, I couldn't take on d8 because knight g3 would have been a queen take plus check. And that is a no-no in my little book. Bishop, rook d7, rook e2, bishop d4, bishop e3. And she played bishop g7 back. A typical mistake that you should try to avoid when you're playing chess. When you're going back and forth, it may work in League of Legends. It does not work in chess. Time is of essence here, not to mention Botez Gambit. And suddenly, out of nowhere, the queen gets captured in the corner. This a3 move that I was talking about actually is coming in handy. You can't really do too much about it. That bishop is defended. These squares are all guarded. And that means it's bye-bye to the lady. Queen takes b4, ab, d4, knight e4. And the rest is basically technique. I am just making sure everything I have is well guarded. I'm trying to win the d pawn, because after that, white's position is just overwhelming. Bishop takes d4, winning the pawn, and now it's all falling apart. Takes queen c3, knight f6 check, knight takes d7, knight takes f8, and here Alexandra Botez resigned. A very interesting game, especially the novelty by Alexandra Botez was super cool, as bishop g4 is very rare, although very playable. Only 7 games played, and only the 8th game altogether in the chess databases, counting this game as well. So, an interesting fight, and if you enjoyed this analysis, please leave a like or a comment below if you want to see more of Rapport-Jobava action, or if you want some extra material on this topic. On that note, thank you so much for watching this, and see ya next time.